May profits be upon you. I hope your weekend's going great. I'm glad to see you here. Thank you for tuning in. Uh, we had a crazy week last week with Ukraine and Russia and the world markets. I mean, just it was nuts, and we can expect more of the same coming. Why? Big decision, taking Russia out of the SWIFT system or not, those kind of sanctions. They resisted. There was some resistance from, reluctance rather, from the European nations or whatever, because it would throw everybody off to take Russia out of the SWIFT system, because that's the only way to pay Russia for their oil. It'll throw the oil markets in chaos. It'll have so much reverberations. That's why there was a lot of reluctance. However, you do see the sentiment among those nations that voted against it. You see that their sentiment is changing. They're thinking that maybe this may be something that is more necessary than not to stop this thing from escalating further. All right, if Russia decides to go any further, it's going to be oh man. All right, but so the nations have to come together and make we'll see if they're going to take Russia out of the SWIFT system, and we'll see what happens after that. But you should know that if that vote does come down against Russia to take them out of the SWIFT system, risk off. All right, risk off. And you'll see US dollar gain strength. You'll see the gold market shoot up. You'll see oil prices shoot up, right? Okay, so with that in mind, let's take a look at Euro USD, all right? What do I have here? I got a market that's structured bearishly, all right? Structured to the downside. You see from this lower high here to that lower low, to this lower high, lower low. Look, we wicked higher here. All right, but you can still see that we didn't get a break and close. This signal that the market wants to turn bullish. All right, we did wick high. We took the liquidity from here, from that high, and then we came back and took the liquidity from that high. But there was no break and close above this supply here. All right, price fell from there. All right, so again, I'm still bearish until we see a break and close above that high. And I would like to see that a daily break and close above that high, right? So I'm bearish, all right? Hence this, the red arrows, right? Now, the orange arrow, the path tool at this, where I'm marking the highs and lows, we have a lower high and a lower low here, and we broke structure to the downside here. So with this bearish, this higher macro time frame break of structure here, we see that we had a return to impulse, and you see how price dropped from there, right? We have on the 4-hour structure, we have a structural break here. We expect that pullback sequence, and that's what we're in the middle of doing now. And I have a couple of areas that I'm got my eye on for possible reversals. All right, if we go down to the 15, what am I going to be looking for? I'm going to be looking for this pattern, a high BMA, a swing low, a break of that high, a break of that swing low, and then somewhere in here we'll find an order block, supply to take price down lower. And that will start the bearish sequence. I'm looking for that here or here at this POI, but we're going to look here first. All right, and I'm going to be looking for that on the 15-minute. That is, by the way, chalk. All right, that is a early indication that price is changing, shifting from bullish momentum to bearish momentum. Chalk, change of character. All right, it's not a confirmation. That would be a boss or break of structure. All right, I want to see this being broken to confirm price has shifted from bullish to bearish momentum. We look for the return to impulse, and then we take that entry to the downside. But chalk is the early indication that price is shifting from bullish to bearish momentum. I hope you understand the difference. All right, so that's what I'll be looking at this POI here. We have a supply here on the 15-minute. All right, but as it shows up on the 4-hour, it just looks like, come on, man. It just looks like a wick here, but that wick has significance. I refer to it as a buy to sell wick, just like this one. Buy to sell. All right, and you see that there was a reaction when price came up into this buy to sell area. We had this bearish reaction here, and then we finally broke through. It wasn't easy. Came down here and then did that dance. So we're closing in on that right now. And that's why I'm looking at this area to see how price reacts. Got too much going on over here, too much going on. All right, so I am bearish in this market. All right, and as the US dollar is started to gain a little strength last week, I believe that risk off sentiment might get stronger, especially if they decide to take Russia out of the SWIFT system. All right, that's going to cause inflation. That's going to cause the interest rates to go up to combat that inflation. There's a whole lot of things. Reverberations, man, reverberations. That's what I'm talking about here. All right, so we're going to keep our eye on the reaction here, and we're going to look for a chalk to see if we can take price down lower. Okay, all right. Now, something else I wanted to point out too. This is a weak low. Why? Because it didn't make a brand new high. It didn't break that high. So when you have a weak low, you know it's going to be vulnerable for a liquidity grab. And that's exactly what happened here. Okay. We have a pullback, and I'm looking for price to continue down lower. That's why I look at the macro level structure, because I want to know what the expectational structural point will be. What will be the next structure point that I expect? I expect a lower low to be made. All right, now you see we done took the liquidity here. We took the liquidity here. So I'm expecting this. That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting a lower low to be made. If price decides to break that high, that is a structural point, and then I will be thinking bullishly, especially on the 4-hour. I will be thinking bullishly. We can go all the way up here, just like we did here, and still be bearish in my bias until we break this high. The market is still bearish in my eyes. Okay, I hope that's easy to grasp. Okay, moving on. Let's look at GU. All right, I got a whole bunch of things happening here, huh? All right, if we look at GU, it's pretty easy to see that we are making lower lows and lower highs, right? Now, what's happening over here, right? What's going on? Well, it should be pointed out that this is a weak low. Why? Because it didn't break this high. came up here, started coming back, right? So what does that mean? This is vulnerable to liquidity, right? What about this? What about that low? Well, it didn't make a new high. So it becomes weak. I'm going to call it weak. And it'll be vulnerable to liquidity, a liquidity grab. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. Came down here and took it out. Right? Why isn't that? Why? Okay, boom. All right, so we took that out. So this would be my natural, let's get this rid, let's get rid of that. This would be my natural target for liquidity. All right, you see how bearish, how much momentum that that Ukrainian crisis caused here. Boom, right? We did have a rebound when they decided not to sanction the Russia against the SWIFT system, taking them out and throwing oil and everything. We had a bullish reaction here, right? But you see, we have some consolidation. Now, this is where I want to get involved. I want to take a look at this on the 15-minute, right? Because I'm expecting, matter of fact, let's make sure we understand. I'm expecting price to come after these lows here. I'm expecting bearish order flow to continue. All right. And I want to see a close, because this wasn't a close. This wasn't a close below that low. All right. I want to see a break and close and a lower low being made. So now you understand why my sentiment is the way it is, my bias, excuse me. So, oh, I should also point out, I'm sorry. There is a very big inefficiency here, right? Price just moved very inefficiently down there. And I believe that this may get covered. You see that? Buy to sell there again, right? And look to the left here. You see all the interactions at this same level, all right, where we both we're hitting it both for resistance and support. And you know how price bounce, just flush through. If we come back up here, I'm expecting price to act a little, bearishly, react bearishly. Look, this is the golden ratio. If you put your fib to the top of that impulse, to the bottom of that impulse, all right, to measure the correction, it's coming up right at that golden ratio, 618. We see that buy to sell area here, where I'm going to be marking supply, and I'm going to watch to see how price reacts once it gets up there. Now we can go to the 15-minute. All right. And on the 15-minute, what do I see? All right. We see that reaction. All right. We see the fair value gap above, right? We see how price reacted here. We came up, we found the demand zone here. We'll break that high, taking that liquidity. Price comes back to it. All right. After a break of structure, what do we expect? That return to impulse, that return to the origin of that impulsing, that impulse that broke that structure. And that's exactly where we did, right? We see it find the demand again and break higher, right? Again, we break this swing high here, all right? And we find demand after we pull back to get that return to impulse, all right? And we see price heading up again. Now, what do I got those little orange lines there for? Weak. This high did not break that low. Weak. So it's going to, I have it as a target for liquidity. Again, here, didn't break that low. Weak. So we're coming up close to taking that out for liquidity. Those are going to be the targets. That's why I'm thinking that price is going to go up, right? That's also This is that area that I'll be watching for a, let's see, for price to give me a chalk, right? And continue down. All right, that's what I want to look for. I'm looking for that, this sequence. If it doesn't happen here, maybe it comes all the way up here. That's a big ask, though, to be honest. I'm thinking that maybe it comes up here to fill that fair value gap on the 4-hour, and then price will just continue down lower to come after those that vulnerable weak low there. I hope that's pretty clear. Anyway, let's move on. That's a big eye there. I don't know why it's that big. All right, let's go to pound CAD. Let's take a look at that on the 4-hour. What do we have here? Now, this one I wanted you to see because it's kind of confusing. You see, this is a mess, right? A lot of noise, sideways action, right? But is this a bullish market or a bearish market? This is on the weekly now. Lower, just lower lows. We have this pullback for a lower high, but it didn't make a lower high, did it? It didn't break these lows, just as a swing point. All right. If we're just looking at it, wow. I don't understand this. Why is it doing that? All right. We just look at it at swing points. We didn't go any lower than this one. So right now, although we are still bearish, I wouldn't turn on the macro level. I wouldn't think bullishly until we break this high here. All right, and we're sideways here, right? Let's take a closer look on the daily. Can you make sense out of this? Yeah, you can. How can you? Well, this is the way I do it. This high, we broke that high. This is a brand new high. Brand new high, right? But I'm just going with the swing points. Lower low, lower high, lower low. We went as high as here, right? We took that top off, all right? But it was only a wick high, all right? So to that point, we took that liquidity, but we didn't go higher. Price tried to get past, make a new high again, and failed. We broke that swing low, a structural point, or the breaker structure here. We went even lower, and then we come back, returning to impulse, starting the pullback phase, right? We had our reaction here. Did we go any higher here? Yeah, we took that liquidity, but we didn't go any further into this supply. Yeah, we took the liquidity here. We tapped at the supply, finally making contact, and you see the bearish reaction. 3 days of bearish candles there, right? Breaking this structural point here on the daily, breaking that structural low. Okay, this is the swing low. All right, this is substructure. This is the actual boom. All right, if we break that, we know that confirms the daily being just confirming the bearishness. We're still bearish because we didn't break this high, but we did break that to the upside. All right, then we come back down. This is more a chalk than a change of character than anything else. Also, we're at a very important POI. I just want you to watch this POI. Yes, I am bearish on this chart in this market, right? because of the short-term lows being broken here. We break this, then I'm confirming that bearishness. But these are short-term. These are microstructure. This is microstructure. We had a swing here. We had a nice pullback, and then we broke that high. We broke that high. Yeah, that looks that would technically make us bullish here, but we are in the supply, and we reacted. So my sentiment is bearish, right? This will confirm that bearishness. Okay, so let's go to the 4 hour. I didn't mean to take so long with that, sorry. All right, so you can see how price broke it. Two short-term lows. If you've seen my previous videos, I always look at that as a demonstration that price wants to go lower. Then we broke these lows. Aha, I'm done. All right, I'm already looking. I'm not looking for any buys here. All right, I'm looking for sell positions. Okay, and we come down to this POI. This is where I would look for a possible turnaround. You know, that's your chalk, and then a possible turnaround here on the 15-minute time frame. All right, I think this would be a good place to look for that turnaround. All right, now the Canadian dollar is going through going to have an interest rate decision this week. If it turns, I think it's expected to rise, so that would give it strength, which would fuel more bearishness. All right, I'm looking for a pullback, maybe to this POI here. All right, and then down. We'll see if price gives us a change of character here first. Okay, that's where I'm at. That's where I am at. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Sorry. USDCAD. This is the last one. All right, if we go to USDCAD, what do we see on the 4 hour? Whole lot going on here. Higher, higher, low, higher, 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 low, right? We took liquidity here, all right? But it was just a wick high again. All right, we took all that liquidity up there, and then we're breaking structure. Oh, I thought I had something to write with. then we break this low, break these swings. Looks like price wants to go further to the downside, right? So what is this? A potential higher low, if we're looking at it this way, a potential higher low. Or excuse me, my internet. All right. That's what we're looking at. This could be vulnerable if we don't break that high. All right, this could be a liquidity point if we don't break that high. Okay, so let's go to take a closer look at this, a little more detail. All right, this is very consolidative. We have a very specific, just a specific range here, but this is structured to the upside, don't you think? All right. If you look at it on the daily, the market seems structured to the upside, because you can see from here we're breaking swing points higher, right? Then we make a higher low, technically break this high. We take the liquidity from this high. All right, then we come down. We do not take out that low. All right, price doesn't take out that low, which means what? To this high. That makes it weak. That makes it vulnerable for a liquidity hunt. Okay, so that's why I'm leaning bullish in this market. On the 4 hour, we have price finally breaking this range to the upside. We have a breakout to the upside. What happens when you break structure to the upside? This is a break of structure right here. All right. What happens when you break structure to the upside? You expect that pullback to what? Origin, to impulse, RTI, right? So I'm looking here now for the reaction to this demand zone. And where would I be looking? We're looking on the 15, of course. I'm looking for a 15-minute chalk in this area. Oh, come on, man. I'm looking for a 15-minute chalk in this area. What would give me that chalk? Well, what you're looking for is price to continue to break the lows of the previous candle. And when that stops, that's when you mark that as a swing point. Ah, come on, what are you doing here? Why did I act like that hurt? Ah, okay. So I'm right here, right? And you look at the pullback and then the breaking of that low. Okay, so this becomes my pullback point for a 15-minute chalk. Okay, now you can get down into the minutia down here, but for me, that's getting too much. That's getting a bit much. All right, you can go down to the lower time frames of the 10 minutes, the 5 minutes, the 1 minute, and look for that chalk down here. But for me, I'm a little more conservative. I'd be looking for a chalk here. If I see price come up here, you saw me select it, right? All right, I'm seeing the price come down, pull back, come down to this point. I need to see that. I need to see a break of that, and then a return, and I will take the order block down here for an entry up, an intraday trade up. Yeah, I would. Yeah, absolutely. All right, now understand we got that interest rate coming for the CAD. We got that interest rate coming for the CAD. We got the SWIFT decision coming for everybody, right? And if they all vote for just kick Russia out of that SWIFT system, that US dollar is going to gain strength. This is going to go up. If the interest rate decision comes in as expected for the CAD to gain strength, this thing is going to probably start to dither here. Now, there's a couple of things that are going to happen. So stay flexible. You understand? I'm looking for that chalk, and if I get that chalk, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take that trade. Yeah. All right, that's it. That's it in this edition. First of all, thank you for your support. Make sure you smash that like button if you like what you see, if you like to receiving this kind of information. All right, leave a comment to let me know which market you're going to take and which market you might have a different outlook on or a question about. Also, leave in the comment section if you have a request for a market that you would like me to take a look at. Now, I'm likely to send a bunch of videos this week because of the interest rate decisions and how they're going to impact the market, and the SWIFT thing and this Ukraine crisis and everything. There's going to be some volatility this week. So I'm going to probably put out a bunch of updates or put out new videos for a particular market. All right, so keep your eyes open. And make sure you hit the community tab for my updates. I try to give people a heads up or give them a place to let me know what they might be thinking or might be experiencing. Do not forget to join us up for Lions in FX free Telegram. Okay, I always drop stuff in that free Telegram. Everybody there knows that. Okay, I like to be active. I will see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your weekend.